Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers tape analysis and player recap of 2020. Our first rookie we are recapping of 2020. That is Alex Highsmith, as voted on by you guys in the poll I put up on my channel. Let's find out what kind of rookie was Alex Highsmith in 2020. And before we get into the tape, let's take a look at Alex Highsmith's stats his rookie season. In 2020, he played in 16 games, 5 starts, those coming after Bud Dupree tore his ACL in the second Ravens game. He had 48 tackles, 5 for a loss, 2 sacks, 1 interception, and a stat courtesy of our Josh Carney, who records the missed tackles and tracks those year by year for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Alex Highsmith, just 2 missed tackles the entire season, just 2 on 41 total attempts. That is a 4.9% missed tackle rate, which was the second lowest of any Steeler, only behind Cam Hayward. So that's a very positive stat for Alex Highsmith. All right, let's turn to the tape and check out the good of Alex Highsmith's rookie season. I want to start. We should begin with any sort of edge rusher. That is, how good are you as a pass rusher? And the thing that impressed me the most with Highsmith, and it was evident on his Charlotte tape, and it fortunately is translated to the NFL, is that he has a really deep pass rush arsenal, a lot of tools in that tool belt, and he can win in a lot of different ways. And that gives you options as an outside linebacker when you're facing a tackle based on your strengths and weaknesses, the tackles, strengths and weaknesses, and how they're setting you. This is a rush here against Washington in week 13, and you're going to see the inside club and swim over the left tackle to get pressure on Alex Smith and force the ball out, which is complete, but still a really good pressure on this play. And so, just a really nice, tight move, good hands, good hips here. Will slow this one down. And Highsmith is going to club to the inside with the left hand, swim over the top with the right hand, and then be able to beat the tackle, basically get held, force the pressure, force the ball out. Is complete, but still only a 6 yard gain. So, a really strong rush here from Highsmith. And just quickly, our last look at it, I want to slow this one down and just so you can see how well Highsmith is timing this rush. As soon as the left tackle here shoots his hands, you're going to see Highsmith counter basically. So watch the left tackle here. He's going to shoot that left hand. And as soon as he does that, Highsmith is going to make his move, club with the inside hand right there to basically hold and chop down that right hand of the left tackle, and then bring Highsmith's outside hand, the right hand, over the top, swim over, and then again kind of hook that right arm and basically force a tackle to hold him, beat him pretty cleanly here had it not been for him getting grabbed, but still forcing the pressure and forcing the ball out of Alex Highsmith, or Alex Smith, I should say, against Alex Highsmith. So a really strong rush here from the rookie. Next week, week 14 versus Buffalo, Highsmith, the right outside linebacker. And one of the most, actually, the most popular video on my channel is illustration and breakdown of Alex Highsmith against Baltimore using a ghost rush. And you're going to see the same here versus Buffalo. And the ghost rush is basically, it is faking the long arm, the one arm stab like a power rush, and then dipping to the outside. So you're going to shoot the inside hand like you're going to long arm and try to bull rush the tackle, and then basically dip that inside shoulder and use speed to try to turn the corner. And you're going to see that here versus the left tackle. Dion Dawkins, a very good left tackle, by the way. So he's going to fake that long arm there. You kind of see that arm extend. So the tackle's going to try to shoot his hands to get into the chest, potentially chop and knock down the hands of the bull rush and trap that arm. But Highsmith's going to fake, pull it back, and then dip under and nearly gets a sack here. Just loses his balance. Allen's a tough dude to bring down, but again, forces pressure. TJ Watt tips the pass, or bats the pass, I should say, and it's incomplete. So this is the ghost rush that Highsmith apparently has in his tool belt. I'd love to know where he got it from. Maybe a college coach, maybe Water Dupree, but I don't see those guys use that rush too often. But a really advanced, high level stuff on Miller has used it quite a bit. Some other top pass rushers have as well. But just slow this one down, and it's slight and subtle, but you're going to see him just shoot that arm right there. Tackle's then going to shoot, but he's going to miss because he's shooting high, thinking he's going to get a bull rush of power here, and Highsmith's going to dip under. And that's really good bend and athleticism and hip and ankle flexion. He does lose his balance a little bit here at the top because he's trying to get so low. So he isn't maybe Von Miller, who could, someone once joked Von Miller could run under a coffee table. Not at that level. Highsmith isn't, at least not yet, but a really impressive rusher. So the sheer fact that he has it and can basically pull it off. He had a better rush against Baltimore that I showed in that video, is impressive for any player, much less a rookie, much less a rookie. He was making one of his first starts of his career. Week 16 against the Colts, critical win to lock up the AFC North and Highsmith here. This is a 4th and 8 here, basically ball game. If the Colts don't convert here, it's game over, which is what ends up happening. And so, kind of, he's got to have it, bring your best type of moments, and Highsmith does. And he's working here against the left tackle, and he's going to hit him with his inside spin. It's going to get the pressure, force the ball out of Philip Rivers' hand, and cause the incompletion. And so, I mean, you're just showing all the different, with just 3 clips we've looked at so far. We've seen Highsmith win with that inside club. We've seen him win with the ghost. Now he's going to win with this great spin move that just makes that left tackle look silly. And I could show you a dozen more clips of different rushes and different moves and repeating these moves over and over. Look at the Browns game, what he did to Jedrick Willis spin moves again. And so, a great setup here, and this is generally something you are setting up throughout the game where you're winning with speed, you're winning outside, and then you're going to counter off of that with an inside spin. So this tackle, once it's set wide, you're going to spin to the inside. And also, probably one thing that influences here was the running back as well. You've seen this running back go out into his route. He's going to try to bump and chip you, not allow that outside rush. So when you see the running back go out wide, let's spin to the inside because we're not going to win outside so cleanly. And just a great rush here. Maybe even a bit of a gamble because Hilton's blitzing on this play. And typically, this guy's going to be, the outside linebacker is going to be the edge that's going to hold the tackle, and the nose tackle is going to try to draw the eyes of the left guard. And that's going to open up Hilton on the nickel blitz. But Highsmith made it work, and that's all that really matters here. As just a really impressive spin move, great athleticism, forces pressure, forces the ball out, and it's incomplete. And the Steelers win the game. So a big rush and a big moment that's really impressive from Alex Highsmith. All right, now that we've looked at Highsmith as a pass rusher, let's check him out versus the run. And there's certainly strides he's made throughout the season there as well. Here, he's the left outside linebacker, going to be working on the right guard here ultimately of the Texans. And just overall, just really gap sound on this play. He's got the B gap on this play, so he's going to keep his outside left arm free. And then when the running back here, Johnson, tries to run through the whole pass, him, he's going to be able to disengage, shed, and make the tackle for a 1 yard loss. So a really good job here. Run fill, fitting this run extremely well, and just playing with good technique, good vision, getting eyes on the running back, and then being able to defeat the block and make the play. So he's got B gap right here. He's going to see the running back through the hole, get that outside arm free, shed, and finish the tackle. And again, it goes back to that missed tackle rate. Very, very low, second best on the team, only behind Cam Hayward. Highsmith did a great job of finishing plays as a rookie, and that is, of course, an encouraging sign. So right here, get that outside arm free, make the tackle, disengage and shed, and finish with a good forceful tackle for a 1 yard loss. So impressive rep here. Week 13 against Washington, continuing the run defense theme for Alex Highsmith. And I remember watching Mike Mayock when he was on NFL Network, especially during draft season, combine like it is right now. And he'd always talk about with edge rushers, can you set the edge? Can you set a physical edge? And Highsmith, I think, still has some work to do there, but a good rep here versus the Washington left tackle. So he's going to be responsible for the edge and holding his gap to the outside, forcing these runs back to the inside. Good length against the left tackle. He's able to shed and then make the tackle along with Cam Hayward and several of the Pittsburgh Steelers basically at the line of scrimmage. So a good job here is setting the edge and then making sure that running back stays inside, disengaging from the block, and making the tackle. So sometimes you hold the edge and other guys make the plays, and that can be extremely valuable. But in this instance, he's able to hold the edge. A good punch here, good shooting of the hands. He's got inside position. You see the way the tackle's hands are outside on the shoulder pads. Highsmith in the chest of the tackle. He's in control of that block, and he's able to shed, dip past the block, and then make the tackle basically at the line of scrimmage. So a nice rep here. You wouldn't put this next play here directly in the bucket or run defense, but I almost feel like it's an extension. The way we talk about, the short pass game being an extension of the run game, I think defending the short pass game is essentially an extension of run defense. And Highsmith here shows a couple good traits: athleticism, control, and balance. Will defeat the cut block of the left tackle here, and then effort. And that's the biggest thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You see him defeat the cut block here from the left tackle. If you don't play with effort, if you don't play with great heart and chase and straining to the football, even when it's past you, you're not going to play for Mike Tomlin and Keith Butler. So Highsmith here, great job being able to stay on his feet to defeat the cut block. Recognizes the screen here to Terry McLaurin behind him, and then Chase get after the football. Hilton able to slow him up and misses the tackle, and then Highsmith makes a tackle. And I know that McLaurin was stumbling here, and there are Steelers closing, but this dude is extremely fast, runs in the 4.4s, and so if Highsmith doesn't make that tackle, McLaurin might have some space, and if he gets up to speed, it's going to be tough to catch him. So this is actually probably a really impressive play here. Thank goodness Highsmith made that tackle. Otherwise, it could have been a fairly decent game, maybe even an explosive play for Washington. So Highsmith here, one last look at it. Great job there to rally back to the football and make a strong tackle. And I just want to point out here as well at the end of this play that we talk about the big plays and what get you props from your teammates. Cam Hayward here, little prop from Alex Highsmith. Only a 2 yard loss. People don't remember this one too much, but those are the plays that'll impress a guy like Cam Hayward. Now let's take a look at Alex Highsmith in coverage. Steelers drop their edge rushers in the coverage less often, which I think is a good thing overall. But Highsmith still making impact plays in the passing game. Steelers down 17-7 against Baltimore early in the second half, and Highsmith's interception here, Lamar Jackson, really turned the tide. And this one got the Steelers back into this game. They ultimately won it. And Highsmith said in the first half they ran the same route combination against him, and they threw it behind him and gave up the play. And so he made the adjustment in the second half here, not biting on the throw to the flat to the fullback Ricard, and able to sink on the throw to Andrews behind him, and makes a great job here to high point this football, make the catch, finish the play, and just a huge shift in the game for Pittsburgh. So the interception itself, of course, is impressive. How impactful it was is important to note. But the big takeaway I have here is that he doesn't make the same mistake twice. First half, he made the mistake. Coaches addressed it. They try to run it on him the second time in the second half, and he's able to make the adjustment and make the play, and a huge one at that. Great job there to high point that football. Catch it. You don't know if these defenders are always going to catch the football or just drop it, but he does. He makes the play, finishes it, and the Steelers get back, ultimately win this game. Week before against Tennessee, this is my favorite 8 yard reception allowed by the Steelers all season long. Highsmith here against Corey Davis in the slot. And yes, I know linebackers on receivers. Let's put that aside for just a moment because this is a really good rep. This looks like a cornerback defending Corey Davis, who's a really athletic wide receiver. Great fluid turn here from Alex Highsmith. Stays step for step with him. Gives up the catch. Can't fault him for that, even though he seems to be a little upset about that. But man, you're covering Corey Davis like that. Great fluid turn and makes a tackle, allows really no yards after contact. That's a really impressive play there for a rookie linebacker who didn't really drop into coverage too much at Charlotte. I don't believe he was a base defensive end up until his senior year at Charlotte, and then his senior season he was a pass rusher and had like 15 and a half sacks. So I don't think he dropped into coverage too often. Didn't play on his feet that often, but he does it here and really looks natural at it. And so you will not see too many linebackers cover Corey Davis or any receiver the way Alex Highsmith does right here. All right, that concludes the good of Alex Highsmith. Let's check out the bad of Alex Highsmith. I'll be honest, I had some real difficulty trying to find negative plays of Alex Highsmith, which just speaks to how well he played as a rookie. But there were a couple of things, of course, there are for any players. And I still think, it's natural for any rookie, some recognition and not getting fooled by some of the eye candy that NFL offenses will do is going to be something he'll have to work on, which, again, you could say that about virtually any single rookie in football. But I think what happens here, it's a little tough to tell when things go wrong. You're not always sure who to blame. But I think he keys in on the pulling Quentin Nelson left guard here, thinking this play is going to be down to the right side, and they fake that as a tendency breaker and toss it to the left to Jonathan Taylor, and Highsmith loses contain on this play. So let me run this thing through. I think he gets fooled. He's reading the guard. He sees the hat go down. He thinks it's a trap play backside. He's going to chase it and try to undercut it, and doesn't end up happening here. They end up tossing this to Taylor on the left side. Ends up being an 11-yard gain. Am I 100% sure about that? Maybe there was a stunt here between Tyson and Highsmith. I don't think so. It's a Fire X thing going on here between is this what Williamson and Vince Williams. But I think Highsmith took the cheese here because he sees the guard pull and realized, oh, it's the NFL. Guard pull doesn't always mean they're going to run that to that side. It's a really strong tendency breaker by the Colts. Good design here, but an 11-yard gain nonetheless against Alex Highsmith and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, looking at Highsmith and some of the run defense issues, just some gap integrity things that I didn't see as recurring issues necessarily, but still some things to clean up here. Heavy set against the Cleveland Browns. This is week 17, the regular season finale. And I believe on this play because, let me go to the top down view here, without the receiver to this side, Nelson becomes part of the run fit more, and basically he's going to have edge contain on this play. So Highsmith does not, but he ends up playing like he does have edge contain here, and he stays outside of the tight end, allows Nick Chubb to run to the inside for an 11-yard pickup. So let me run this thing through. You see it right here. I'm pretty sure Nelson would have outside contain on this play without there being a receiver threat for him to cover. So Highsmith should have the inside gap here against the tight end. He does not. He stays outside. There's a big hole here for Nick Chubb to run through for an 11-yard pickup. Highsmith able to get off the block and make the tackle, which was good, but I think had the secured, I believe, what should have been his gap to the inside here. This would have been, what is this, A, B, C, D gap here. We'll work on this together here, the alphabet. Had he had the D gap here and stayed down and kept Nelson on the outside and spilled the run to him potentially, then there is not going to be a hole for Nick Chubb to run through, and you're not going to get any sort of positive run here as opposed to the 11-yard pickup that Nick Chubb had on this play. So I'll run this thing through one more time. You can debate, is that his gap or not, but I believe it is based on the formation, and Highsmith should have jumped to the inside. Other element I would note for things Highsmith needs to work on in year number two is just getting stronger in general, and especially on his bull rush. And the one pass rush move that doesn't really work too well for him right now is that bull rush. He doesn't threaten tackles with power too often. You see that here going back to this Week 13 game versus Washington. That bull rush gets rebuffed pretty easily here by this left tackle. I know he's got 100 pounds probably on the rookie, but still, you want to see Highsmith create a little bit more power in his hands and from that lower body, especially on the way up to generate that power, and that bull rush really stalls out. The tackle's able to anchor it, and really no threat on this play. So I'll show you another example of that here in a moment. But I do want to see Highsmith's bull rush get a little bit stronger. Generally, that's going to start from the bottom up. Pretty crystal clear example of that bull rush needing work here in week 14 versus Buffalo facing Dion Dawkins. He's going to try to hit him with this bull rush, and it really fails miserably. Dawkins just controls his block the whole way through. And just to kind of slow this thing down, Highsmith, I think, misses on his punch here initially, and that kind of ruins his whole rep. I'll slow this one down for you guys. He's trying to set up this bull rush, the hands outside. You see it on top of the shoulder there. Just no power. So that's partially a hand placement thing, but also I just don't think he's strong enough right now to have that bull rush. It's really going to threaten to walk back tackles too much. Not always to disengage and get sacks and things like that, but just to try to collapse the pocket. And Highsmith still has some work to do there, and Dawkins really owns Highsmith on this play. All right, so that concludes our evaluation of Alex Highsmith. Let's recap the good of his game, kind of our mini scouting report. I would say his football IQ is excellent. He does not make the same mistakes twice. He's very coachable, it seems. I saw that on a Charlotte tape, and I'm seeing that with his Pittsburgh Steelers tape as well. As pass rush variety and tools are really strong. He can win in a ton of different ways. You don't see that for many rookies. The way he can win with club and cross chop, which I didn't even show in this video, or ghost and spin, and just a lot of tools in that tool belt. And so that's really exciting when you have a really advanced pass rusher for being a young guy. His effort and chase is good. His finish is strong. That missed tackle rate, as I mentioned earlier, extremely low. That's all positive. Overall, he's a good athlete. He's fluid. His hips are strong. He's not elite athleticism type of guy like Bud is, who's just a freaky kind of dude, but he's a really good athlete overall. And maybe most importantly, you're seeing steady improvement week to week. And that's always encouraging when a rookie is getting snaps, making mistakes, and then not making them twice, correcting things, and getting better basically every time you see him. In terms of the bad of Alex Highsmith, I do want to see him get stronger. That is kind of the theme overall. I want to see that bull rush become more impactful. So I think he needs to get stronger, maybe add a little bit more weight. He talked about that in an offseason interview on Steelers.com. That's what happened with Bud Dupree. He really, that light didn't come on for Bud Dupree. I think injuries were part of it. But when he got stronger and he developed that bull rush is when he became a really complete pass rusher that could threaten with speed and inside counters and also with power and converting speed to power. If Highsmith does that, that could take him to the next level. A minor point, but I do want to see Highsmith work on reading his keys and leverage and angles, all things that rookies have to deal with, generally speaking, when they come to the NFL. Just some minor miscues there. And then the last thing for Highsmith, and I really couldn't show this in the video, but I do want him to have a go-to move. When I think about Alex Highsmith right now, I don't know what that key pass rush move is right now. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of tools in that tool belt, but whenever the game is on the line, what is going to be that move that he knows he can go to that he can win with? You think about James Harrison. Dude only had two rushes. He had the speed bull rush and he had the dip and rip, and that's all you needed in the NFL. Dwight Freeney had two rushes. He had speed to the outside and the inside spin counter. So it's good to have 5 or 6 different ways to win, but I want him in this offseason to really hone in on one or two moves that are really his, that are his own, that he becomes really great at, and then he can occasionally sprinkle in the other ones as well just to keep the tackle off balance. But overall, Highsmith, really impressive rookie season. I'm encouraged by the progress. It's going to hurt to lose Bud Dupree. There's no question about that. But Highsmith, I think, is ready to become the Pittsburgh Steelers starting right outside linebacker out of the gate in 2021. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it ran a little bit long, but so much to talk about with Alex Highsmith. Let me know in the comment section who we should review next. It'll be an offensive player. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you soon.